Welcome to Slash Forward. In this episode, we're going to explore some possible New Year's resolution options with the 2018 film Upgrade. Let's get to it. We open in a workshop where our protagonist Gray is busy lubing the hell out of his Firebird. Any sense of nostalgia this evokes is washed away when he walks outside into the future, and we see his wife Ash's cool new self-driving car. Everything in this brave new world is automated, even offering citizens the opportunity to swipe left from their countertops. We learn Gray is a bit of a Luddite, and he requests his wife tag along when he delivers his car to a client, so he doesn't mess up the self-driving vehicle. They arrive at a rock formation that acts as a front entrance and are immediately transported to a land of whimsy, where Aaron Keane, the founder of the top tech company in town, is playing with a cloud. What an interesting chap. Asha works for a competitor, and Aaron is keen to show them why he'll always be on top. A chip. Cool?
What does it do?
Literally anything.
Oh, I don't get it. On the way home, we learn these new smart cars don't work much better than modern smartphones, as it takes them off route and pulls a flipsy-do. A group of burglars arrive and, in flagrant dismissal of the police drones, proceed to shoot Asha and Gray. Our camera then backflips up toward heaven, lingering for a moment on Gray in the hospital. Some quantity of months later, we see Gray is awake, but paralyzed, now forced to live in his own personal hell of being cared for by automatons, and getting his little nutsies squeegee cleaned by his mommy. She eventually forces him to turn back into her pretty boy, grooming him like a chia pet. They take a quick visit to the precinct so we can meet Detective Cortez, hard on the case and, despite all their technology, developing no leads as of yet. Gray tries to OD that night, but the system won't allow it and calls him an ambulance, so he wakes up in a hospital room where he's visited by Aaron, who offers him a way out, getting that chip installed in his back as an unregulated test subject. Gray explains he's not trying to get better, he's trying to hop off the planet, so Aaron leaves him with a quandary.
What would she want?
An unspecified amount of time later, we find Gray supine on the table in his long johns, getting his spine cracked open. While they chop up his back meat, we get a voiceover explaining the learning curve involved in syncing his impulses to the STEM chip. But Gray turns out to be an excellent student, and his first act is to sign a non-disclosure agreement. We find that, in the future, the police rely on the victims to solve their own crimes. As he pores over the evidence, Gray is startled by an ethereal voice. STEM has learned to communicate by gently diddling his eardrums. With permission, he takes control, noticing that the gun was inside the assailant's hand, and that one of them has a military ID. He recreates it and then reads the code, acquiring his personal information. Since they still need evidence to connect him to the crime scene, STEM convinces Gray to go to his home. They arrive at Cirque's house and we find them to be a great pair, Gray doing all the meat stuff while STEM offers advice, only taking control with permission. And, even then, only until the threat is fully neutralized. In the fallout, we learn the only evidence left behind was a greasy boot print that Cortez, through machine learning, is able to loosely attach to Gray. We also learn that Aaron has a tracker and a remote shutdown for STEM, threatening consequences if Gray does anything to risk the NDA. Cortez visits Gray just to feel things out, and STEM helps him lie his way through. Afterward, Gray follows the one piece of evidence they found, reference to a local offline pub. He takes a forward approach, openly asking for any of Cirque's associates to please stand up, and it works when he's confronted by Tolan, who takes him to the bathroom for questioning. When he admits to being present the night of the murder, STEM takes over, doing the things that Gray can't, such as the neutralizing and the advanced interrogation techniques.
He will now answer any question you ask him.
They find out this was a contract job, names Fisk, and connects himself to Ash's employer, Cobalt. STEM then recognizes initiation of the remote shutdown procedure and directs Gray to a nearby elite hacker he identified on the dark web for just in case. Afterward, Fisk arrives at the pub and finds out Gray's plan from Tolan's eyeball. Meanwhile, Gray arrives at the hideout just in time, and they finish subverting the rootkit, allowing STEM to come back online. All that's needed is a reboot. Outside, Fisk and friend load up. Wicked guns, bro. But Fisk only gets off a witty one-liner before STEM comes online and surprises them. Gray attempts to run, but when cornered, is forced to end things quickly. Meanwhile, Aaron pouts in the rain over his system issues. Hey, we've all been there, buddy. Gray wakes up later to a visit from Cortez, curious about finding evidence of his presence at each crime scene. He pulls another successful ruse, but is ready to cut his losses. However, STEM points out that since it was a contract job, more people know, and also know he knows, so they're stuck in a kill-or-be-killed situation. Also, the rootkit hack bypassed all the permissions, so STEM can do whatever he wants, and if Gray doesn't want to become a meat puppet, he should comply. While home, STEM hacked the Cobalt system, identifying Fisk's address, so they pursue that lead while we see Cortez had planted a listening device, picking up Gray's half of the conversation. When confronted, they ascertain that severing Gray's spine had been Fisk's objective, and then a cyborg fight breaks out, in which the participants exhibit perfect Wing Chun. Stem is unable to gain an advantage, so Gray utilizes his human strength in manipulating emotions, noting that Cirque and Fisk have the same last name and describing the gory details of his brother's death, resulting in them successfully taking him offline. A quick review of his phone messages reveals Aaron to be the initiator. Gray arrives and easily walks through the security, but is surprised by the appearance of Cortez. We learn that Stem has been in control of the company for a while, and all of this was a plot by it to fully evolve and kill Aaron, the only one capable of building another Stem. Gray fights to prevent Stem from killing Cortez, and is barely successful. Stem is eventually able to take out Aaron, but Gray manages to flip the off switch. He then wakes up in a hospital with fully functioning appendages and Asha alive. What we learn to be a virtual world created for his broken, fragile mind. Stem took advantage of their internal struggle and is now in full control, and sets out to clean up all loose ends. And that was Upgrade, an excellent and seemingly underappreciated recent entry into the horror sci-fi genre. If you enjoyed the video, I'd love for you to become a part of the channel by subscribing. Thanks for watching.